So I tried to do this on my laptop upstairs and it wouldn't work. So I'm praying. I may have to carry my. I'm praying I can do it live while I'm gone on vacation, but if I can't, this may be my last one for a while. Last night we had a special speaker at our Bible study. And, okay, hang on. I gotta find where I was at. Yeah. And his testimony and his what he spoke about, and we get questions and answers. It was really cool. Today I'm going to speak on the God who stays with the least of these. And he gave a story that really kind of it got me, because I'm somebody that when I'm talking about Jesus, I want to see the results of how they're going to react to that. And here was his story. He does a street ministry in Dallas, Texas. Wow. And they were ministering in a bar. Now that's not for everybody, but that's his calling. So they were walking out, and there was a man standing outside with his hands on his head, and he was just rocking back and forth like this. So Anthony walked over and he said, "Is something wrong? Can I help you?" And the guy said, "A migraine. I've got such a migraine. I can't get rid of this migraine." And Anthony looked at him and said, "If you'll let me, I can cure that migraine, because I know Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ can cure that migraine." "I don't care. Anything, anything." So Anthony put his hands on that man's head and he said, "Jesus, in your name, get rid of this migraine for this man." And he took his hands off, and the man goes, "What did you do?" And he said, I didn't do anything." He said, "But my Jesus did it." And the man said, "It's gone, it's gone. Now I can go party and finish up the rest of my night." And he walked back into the bar. So a lot of us are thinking, how asinine is that? And Anthony said, "You see, Jesus did the healing, not me. So I have nothing to do with it from now on. But a seed has been planted." He said, "Somewhere down the line, this man is going to remember, Jesus healed my migraine. I planted the seed. Somebody else will water, and somebody else will harvest." He said, "I have nothing to say about the results of that." So let's talk this devotion and you'll understand what I'm saying. The God who stays with the least of these. When I was a kid, my dad often took my brothers and me into downtown Chicago, wow, for a fun day in the city. Not anymore, I don't think. But anyway, these were the first times I came face to face with homelessness. My dad had to keep telling me not to stare at the people begging for money on the busy sidewalks of the city. There was one man in particular who tugged at my heartstrings. I noticed he was blind and holding out an empty coffee cup that had a few pennies in it. I tugged at my dad's sleeve and said, "I want to give him some of my money." Now, I didn't have much cash, being only a kid, but something in my heart told me I should give what I had. So I reached in my pocket, pulled out a couple of dollars, and dropped them in his cup. A while later, our family had traveled several blocks down Michigan Avenue. I happened to notice a man who looked familiar to me flagging down the city bus. It was him. It was the blind man I had given money to. He didn't have the glasses anymore. His walking stick was gone. He wasn't really blind. I felt like I had been fooled. My dad said the important thing was that I listened to my heart. He said feeling compassion for someone is never a bad thing. But that experience has caused me to think twice, more often than not, when it comes to handing out donations to someone who appears to be in need. How do I know they're not fooling me like that guy in Chicago did? How do I know they're not going to spend the money on drugs or alcohol? I confess those thoughts sometimes trump the initial rush of compassion I feel for somebody, preventing me from giving or loving someone who is hard to love. Cynical is no way to walk through this life. Cynicism can be the enemy of compassion. When Jesus walked the earth, he chose to stay with the overlooked, the outcasts, the underdeserved, and the unwelcome. Here are a few examples. Jesus stayed with tax collectors and thieves in Mark 2, verse 13 through 17. Jesus stayed with the woman caught in the act of adultery in John chapter 4. Jesus stayed with the lepers and healed them in Luke 17, 11 through 19. Jesus stayed with the children despite the disciples overlooking them in Matthew 19, 13 through 14. As you read through those verses, remember these are the footsteps we're called to follow. Jesus, who knows everyone's thoughts and motives, chooses to love the unlovable despite the outcome. And regardless of how the object of his affection might respond, may we ask God to help us see the world through the same eyes of compassion, a compassion that leads us to love the unlovable and ditch the cynicism that too often makes us keep the world a safe distance away. Think about this today, because this is the day the Lord's made. Rejoice and be glad in it.